Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're not just telling ghost stories, we're stepping into one. Clinton Road is the most haunted street in America, and the bus waiting in the shadows isn't just a bus. It's a test of courage, a doorway into fear itself. They say if you break the rules, you don't come back the same. But what if breaking those rules is the only way to break your limits? Tonight isn't about legends. It's about proving fear has no power unless you hand it over. So buckle up, because once those doors close, there's no turning back. Fear has a way of creeping in silently, almost unnoticed, until it grips every part of your being. It doesn't arrive with a warning or an announcement. Instead, it lingers in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. Stepping onto a place like Clinton Road, especially the haunted bus, makes you realize how quickly fear can seize control. The whispers of legends, the countless warnings, and the chilling stories paint a picture in your mind before you even arrive. Your heartbeat quickens. Your breath becomes shallow, and every sound suddenly feels louder than it should. Yet, in those very moments, you realize fear is only as strong as the belief you pour into it. Fear thrives on imagination, feeding on the what-ifs that swirl in your head. The bus itself is nothing more than metal, seats, and silence, but your mind turns it into something monstrous. That is the first lesson. The real ghost isn't out there, it's inside you. The truth about fear is that it wants to keep you comfortable, safe, and small. It whispers that you should turn around, that you should stick to familiar places where nothing unexpected can harm you. But the problem with comfort is that it chains you down and locks away your potential. Walking into the haunted bus on Clinton Road is not just about testing a legend, it's about testing yourself. Every eek of the floorboards, every gust of wind through shattered windows dares you to retreat. But by staying, by holding your ground, you take back control from fear itself. The walls that seem terrifying become just walls. The silence that felt deafening becomes just silence. What was once paralyzing transforms into a challenge you can conquer. That shift in mindset is powerful. It turns fear from an enemy into a tool for growth. When you stand face to face with fear, your body reacts in ways you don't expect. Adrenaline surges through your veins, sharpening your senses, making you hyper-aware of every detail. The shadows seem darker, the air feels colder, and even your own footsteps echo louder than normal. It's in these conditions that fear tests your resolve. Do you let your instincts take over and run, or do you pause and remind yourself that it's just your mind playing tricks? Courage is not about ignoring fear, but about recognizing it and choosing to act anyway. Each second you stay in that bus is a statement that you refuse to be controlled by the illusions your mind creates. With every breath you take, you claim back power from the invisible grip of fear. What seemed impossible at first becomes bearable and then manageable. That process is where true strength is born. Legends and rules exist to amplify fear, to make the unknown seem larger than life. They say not to enter, not to linger, not to break the silence, but those warnings are what give the story its power. The real test begins when you decide to step beyond the edge of those restrictions. The moment you ignore the rules, you take away fear's ability to dictate your actions. Inside the bus, there is no ghost physically holding you down, no hand dragging you back. It's only your own doubt trying to convince you to quit. And every second you fight against that doubt, you break through a mental barrier that holds you back in life too. This isn't just about Clinton Road anymore. It's about every road you've been too scared to walk down in your own journey. Fear has one purpose: to teach you what you're truly capable of. Without it, you would never grow, never push boundaries, never discover your own strength. If everything felt safe, if every road was lit and predictable, you would remain the same person forever. But the darkness, the unknown, and the haunted places in life are what shape resilience. By staying in the bus, you learn how to face discomfort with composure. That lesson carries far beyond this moment, into your relationships, your goals, your ambitions. If you can keep calm in a place designed to terrify you, imagine how much stronger you'll stand in the face of everyday struggles. The bus becomes more than a test of bravery. It becomes a training ground for real life. Fear stops being something that cages you and becomes something that fuels you instead. There's something liberating about realizing that fear can't actually touch you. It can make you sweat. It can make your heart race. It can even trick your mind into believing danger is everywhere. But in reality, fear has no hands, no chains, no weapons. It is powerless without your belief. Inside the haunted bus, as you breathe deeper and ground yourself in reality, you notice how empty it truly is. The legends echo in your mind, but nothing physical holds you there. That realization changes everything. It's the moment you understand that fear can't hurt you unless you invite it in. Suddenly, The bus doesn't own you, you own the bus. That shift in power, that turning point, is where the chains break and freedom begins. Every person who gives into fear walks away with regret, carrying the weight of what if for the rest of their lives. But those who face it, who stand firm even when everything screams at them to leave, walk away transformed. They leave with proof that they are stronger than they ever imagined. Fear becomes a mirror, reflecting back not your weakness, but your untapped potential. On Clinton Road, the haunted bus is just a stage. The real show happens inside your mind, where you learn how to silence doubt and replace it with courage. Every time you resist running away, you build a habit of persistence that will serve you in all areas of life. Fear doesn't disappear, but your ability to control it becomes unshakable. And once you've conquered one haunted bus, no obstacle feels insurmountable anymore. The beauty of fear is that it reminds you you're alive, that you're capable of feeling deeply, and that you have choices to make in those moments. Most people mistake fear as a stop sign, a signal to retreat. But in truth, fear is an arrow pointing directly at the path you need to take. If it scares you, it means it will grow you. That's why stepping into that haunted bus is more than a challenge. It's an initiation into the strength you've always had within you. Once you embrace this, fear turns into fuel. The same adrenaline that made you shake becomes the same energy that makes you unstoppable. The haunted bus no longer represents terror. It becomes a symbol of transformation. By choosing to face it, you unlock a version of yourself that is braver, stronger, and ready for anything. Walking away from the haunted bus, you don't just leave with relief, you leave with pride. You carry a story that proves you didn't back down, that you stood your ground against fear itself. That story becomes a reminder every time doubt tries to creep back in. You've already proven you can do it, so why stop now? The myths of Clinton Road will live on, but now they're just that, stories. What you gain is real. The confidence to face challenges, the discipline to master your emotions, and the courage to break through any barrier. Fear will always try to return, but so will your memory of standing firm on that bus. And in that balance, you'll always have the upper hand. That's the ultimate victory. Walking through fear and coming out the other side unstoppable. Fear thrives in silence, and silence is the loudest sound when you're trapped in your own thoughts. Inside the haunted bus, that silence is broken only by your heartbeat, hammering like a drum you cannot turn off. It's in that moment you realize fear is not external. It's internal, it's personal, it's tailored to you. It knows your insecurities, your doubts, your most fragile pieces, and it uses them against you. But there is beauty in identifying it, in calling it out for what it is, a trick of the mind. Every step you take further inside proves that fear is smoke and mirrors, not substance. The rattling of a loose seat, the rustling wind outside, the creak of metal are harmless in reality, yet your brain magnifies them until they feel like an attack. By naming them, by grounding yourself in truth, you take away fear's greatest weapon, deception. The haunted bus teaches that clarity destroys illusions. The deeper you go, the more your body begs you to leave, but that is the moment transformation begins. Growth does not happen when things are easy, predictable, and comfortable. Growth happens when your mind screams stop, but your soul whispers keep going. That tension between comfort and courage is where strength is born. The haunted bus is more than a location. It's a metaphorical training ground for all the storms life will throw your way. If you can withstand the pressure of this environment, then everyday challenges shrink in comparison. Arguments, failures, setbacks, and disappointments no longer hold the same weight. You already proved to yourself that you can stand in the fire and not break. Fear becomes a reminder, not a warning, a reminder that you've conquered it before and you can conquer it again. That is the unshakable confidence no legend can take from you. People often misunderstand bravery as being fearless, but that is the greatest lie fear has ever told. Bravery is not about removing fear, but about mastering it. The shiver down your spine, the sweat on your palms, the rapid pulse in your chest, they don't disappear when you're brave. They remain, but bravery means you move forward anyway. In that haunted bus, every sensation is magnified, every nerve is alert, but you take another step regardless. And in that step, you prove to yourself that you are not your fear. You are the choice you make in spite of it. Life constantly throws haunted buses in our paths. Jobs that scare us, relationships that test us, risks that terrify us. The same principle applies to them all. Fear may exist, but so do you. And your will, if strong enough, is always greater. The environment itself plays tricks on you, feeding into the stories you've already heard. The cracks in the windows look like eyes watching, the shadows stretch longer than they should, and every shift of the air feels alive. This is how legends gain power. They infect your perception until you can no longer separate fact from fiction. But in that distortion lies the opportunity for discipline. By forcing yourself to focus on what is real, the metal under your hands, the ground beneath your feet, the breath in your lungs, you anchor yourself back to truth. That practice of grounding is not just useful here, it becomes a survival skill for everything. Whenever life overwhelms you, you return to what is real and strip away the lies your fear creates. That discipline turns chaos into clarity, confusion into focus, and weakness into strength. The haunted bus becomes a classroom, and fear becomes the teacher. There's a moment when you expect something to happen, something dramatic, terrifying, legendary. You wait for a figure in the corner, for footsteps that don't belong to you, for a hand on your shoulder, and when none of that comes, you realize the buildup was all in your head. Fear sold you a story that was louder than reality,